I've always felt that the cosmos has a peculiar way of weaving fate. Just look at my life, Caroline Roberts, 32 years old, caught in a web of unexpected turns. Once a seasoned makeup artist to the glamorous elite of Oakland, she found herself perpetually single. But everything shifted the moment a hapless delivery arrived, turning her world upside down. A handsome stranger knocked on my door, holding a package that clearly didn't belong to me. "Delivery for Eva Carter," he announced, his gaze barely lifting from the box in his hands. "Device wrong address," I said. But something made me hesitate before shutting the door. The package, the sleek black portfolio case, adorned with silver clasps, seemed to beckon to me. "Wait, where is it meant to go?" I asked, as he revealed the address with a hint of mystery in his eyes. Just 3 blocks down on my same street. I could have urged him to go there himself, but instead, I found myself whispered, "I'll swing by and leave it for you, since I'm headed that way for my morning brew." Just 5 minutes later, I found myself gazing at the portfolio resting on my kitchen counter. A voice of reason whispered, "Don't open it." Yet, the allure of curiosity tugged at my heart, urging me to take a chance. Instead, I settled for simply examining the return label of the September issue of Vogue. Preliminary shots. Damn it! A model. I let my fingers glide over the luxurious case. An inexplicable sense of familiarity washed over me. That evening, after the day's toil, I made a decision. As I strolled through the vibrant streets, the autumn air wrapped around me with a delightful Oakland crispness, each step revealing a tapestry of golden leaves dancing in the gentle breeze. Leaves danced playfully across the sidewalk, leading me to an enchanting Victorian, beautifully restored and brimming with charm. It felt like stepping into a dream where every corner whispered secrets of love and longing. The apartment resembled a cozy little shoebox as I rang the bell, portfolio clutched tightly in my hand. I mentally rehearsed a charming opener, hoping to set the perfect tone for our encounter. Then the door swung open, and I was utterly speechless. There she was, clad in yoga pants and an oversized sweater, her brunette hair cascading softly around her shoulders, messily piled atop her head. She remained the most striking woman I had ever encountered. Her eyes, a piercing blue, contrasted beautifully with her fair complexion. Her gaze pierced through me, a soft curiosity dancing in her eyes. "Can I help you?" she inquired, her head tilting slightly, inviting me into her world. With a hint of shyness, I extended the portfolio, as if presenting a clumsy gift, my heart racing at the thought of your reaction. It was delivered to my doorstep by mistake. My precious portfolio. Thank the stars she took hold of it with such grace. A wave of relief washed over me as I dialed the delivery company yet again. They had promised me it was on its way, and while they insisted it had been delivered, the truth felt more complicated than that, just to the wrong person. When she smiled, something inside me shifted, like the sudden realization of a connection with someone I had never encountered before. Her fingers lightly grazed against mine as she reached for the portfolio, and in that fleeting moment, I felt a spark that transcended the ordinary. Electricity crackled in the air as she introduced herself. "I'm Eva," her hand reaching out with grace. "Caroline," came the soft reply, a spark igniting between them. As our hands brushed together, our gazes locked once more. And in that surreal instant, I envisioned us in another time, adorned in unfamiliar attire, varied hairstyles yet familiar faces. The image faded as swiftly as it appeared. "Would you care to step inside for Thank you for the drink," she inquired, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. Common sense whispered, "Make an excuse." Yet, my lips betrayed me. Her sanctuary. Of course, her home was precisely what one would envision from a successful model minimalist, yet tasteful, adorned with framed magazine covers that whispered of her glamorous life. With a smile that could light up the room, she poured us both glasses of wine. As we settled into our conversation, I discovered she was 28, hailing from the charming streets of Boston, rapidly becoming one of Oakland's most sought-after models. "Makeup artist," I replied, a hint of pride in my voice when she inquired about my profession. "Freelance, but I collaborate with some talented photographers in the Bay Area. Perhaps our paths will cross and we'll create something beautiful together one day," she said, with a smile that seemed to carry a depth beyond her words. An hour slipped away like mere moments. When I finally departed, we exchanged numbers, a professional gesture that lingered in the air. That night, sleep eluded me as thoughts of our encounter danced in my mind. I couldn't shake the feeling of familiarity as her face lingered in my mind. It was as if our souls had crossed paths long ago. At 2:00 a. Curiosity got the better of me, and I found myself searching for her online, uncovering dozens of images that only deepened the mystery. Captivated my gaze, Eva adorned in exquisite couture, Eva gracing the runways, Eva enchanting the world with her fragrance. Her sultry stare held a promise, yet none could truly capture the depth of what I had experienced in that moment. It was a strange, compelling force that drew me in, leaving me breathless. In a striking monochrome frame, she looked straight into the lens, her gaze echoing a haunting familiarity that stirred the depths of the heart. Something I couldn't quite grasp held my gaze, my eyes aching from the intensity of my focus as I sought to unravel the mystery of why the stranger seemed so significant. My phone, a thrill ran through me as I received a message from an unknown number. Thanks again for rescuing my portfolio. It felt like destiny had woven our paths together once more. Intriguing ways of delivering messages. Ava, I found myself smiling at the glow of my screen in the shadows of the night, as if fate itself had woven our paths together. Indeed, I had no idea at that moment just how true her words would prove to be, or how intricately our fates were woven together through the tapestry of time. 2 weeks slipped by, filled only with the occasional lighthearted messages exchanged between us. I found myself yearning for more, persuading myself that the spark I sensed was merely a figment of my overactive mind. Then, as dawn broke at 7, my phone chimed with an unexpected call. Tuesday, my dearest Caroline Roberts. This is Diane from Bizet Studios, your devoted makeup artist, feeling the weight of the world on my shoulders. I received a call that sent my heart racing. They needed someone for a significant shoot today, and my name had been whispered in the right circles. Without a moment's hesitation, I threw off the covers and leaped from my bed, eager to seize this unexpected opportunity. What time and where? I thought, as excitement coursed through me. At 9, my heart raced as I received the news about Luminous Cosmetics' new campaign. I nearly dropped my phone when I saw the details unfold before my eyes. I arrived at the studio and caught sight of her, Eva Carter, nestled in the preparation area, her fingers dancing over her phone. She appeared up, and her astonished gaze reflected my own. Caroline, you're the one they've chosen to take her place? It seemed I placed my kit down, striving to maintain an air of professionalism, even as my heart raced with anticipation. What a curious twist of destiny, she mused, her smile hinting at mysteries yet to be unveiled. The director stepped forward, urgency in his voice. Thank God you're here. We need Eva prepared and in her natural state, ready to shine, but glowing. Can you handle it? I nodded, slipping into a mode of professionalism. As I carefully arranged my brushes, Ava gracefully settled into the makeup chair. I couldn't help but hope that our paths would intertwine in a way that felt destined, even if it hadn't happened yet. It felt like time had slipped away too quickly. The noise of the studio faded into the background as I became lost in the beauty of her face. In my past encounters with striking individuals, I had always found beauty in the vibrant streets of Oakland. Yet, Eva stood apart, her features a flawless masterpiece, high cheekbones that seemed to capture the very essence of perfection. Gaze into those mesmerizing eyes that dance between shades of blue and gray, shifting with the light. Close your eyes, I whispered softly. As my brush glided across her eyelid, I caught the soft sound of her breath, a delicate inhale that mirrored my own. In that moment, our breaths intertwined, creating an intimate rhythm between us, with hers without me realizing it. Your hands are so steady, she murmured. As the years slipped away, of practice, yet they lacked the steadiness I craved. Not truly, not when I found myself drawn to her lips, my fingers softly brushing color onto that exquisite Cupid's bow. Our faces were mere inches apart, and I could feel the warmth of her breath on my wrist. She opened her eyes, and our gazes locked. In that fleeting moment, an undeniable spark ignited between us, passed between us. I found myself leaning ever so slightly closer, my hand lingering near her lips. Perfect. Whispered, though I wasn't speaking of the makeup, her gaze fell to my lips. The encounter, the space that once separated us began to shrink, as if drawn together by an unseen force. In just 5 fleeting minutes, the photographer's voice pierced through the air, causing me to startle and nearly topple my foundation. Ava, she cleared her throat, her voice soft yet sincere. Thank you, she said, a warm smile gracing her lips. You're truly talented. The shoot went brilliantly, observed from the shadows as Eva blossomed under the lens. Each pose was a dance of intention and grace, a moment where time seemed to pause. Her eyes would seek mine across the studio, and that peculiar bond would spark between us once more. During a break, With a sharp-dressed man and immaculate hair drawing near, Eva felt a rush of anticipation as he spoke in hushed yet intense tones. She found herself nodding repeatedly, captivated by the moment. Her expression dimmed as she cast a fleeting glance in my direction. He caught her gaze, his eyes sweeping over me with a chilling indifference before guiding her away. As I made my way toward the refreshment table, a production assistant leaned in and whispered, "That's James Turner," catching me off guard as I found myself captivated by her, an agent with an iron grip. Yet she secures the most incredible deals. After the shoot, as I was carefully packing my kit, Eva glided over to me, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "The photos will be amazing. You made me look incredible," she exclaimed, her voice filled with admiration. "You didn't need much help." I smiled, closing my case. "Listen, would you want to?" Eva James materialized beside her, his hand resting possessively on her elbow. As cars awaited their departure, "We have that meeting, right?" She looked conflicted. "Caroline, it was truly wonderful working with you." "You too," I replied, handing her my. In a fleeting moment, our fingers brushed against each other, sending a spark through the air. James cleared his throat, breaking the tension as Ava looked up, her heart racing. "It was truly a pleasure to meet you, Carrie." I must admit, I found myself correcting my initial impressions, and I look forward to our next encounter. His words lingered in my mind, a tantalizing reminder of the line we were towing. After they departed, my phone buzzed with a message from James. "Mixing business with pleasure is career suicide. But I can't resist. Stop thinking about you. Coffee." Sometimes. That evening, I found myself still, the enchanted vision. As I glanced at my phone, a smile spread across my face, just as Sophia, my dearest friend since our college days, arrived with takeout in hand. "What's with the dopey grin?" she teased, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. She inquired, her fingers delicately arranging the containers on my coffee table. "Nothing, just a potential client." She arched an eyebrow, a playful glint in her eye. Client, or perhaps something more intriguing. In the quiet corners of my heart, I find myself drawn to the whispers of love that linger in the air. I shrugged, but my cheeks revealed the truth. As I confided in Sophia about Eva, I tried to downplay the depth of my feelings. How could I possibly do that? Explain something I didn't understand myself. That when I was close to Eva, it felt like a sweet recollection rather than. As they met, Sophia's voice was laced with concern, her hand reaching for more noodles, a subtle reminder of the delicate balance between desire and caution. The dynamics between them can be intricate, particularly with that James fellow involved. I assured him it was merely coffee. Yet, we both understood the truth behind my words. The dream visited me 3 nights after the photo shoot, and I was in the enchanting city of Paris, where dreams intertwine with reality. I find myself in a sun-drenched studio, my hands, adorned with splashes of paint, cradle a brush, poised to create something beautiful, as if the very essence of love and passion is waiting to be captured on canvas. On a stool sat a captivating woman in a shimmering flapper dress, her dark hair styled in a chic bob. When she turned, I felt a spark of intrigue, gasped, even with the vintage styling. Eva's eyes were undeniably captivating. "Darling, dream," Eva whispered in French. "You'll never finish if you keep staring." I awoke, drenched in sweat, my heart racing. We had planned to. As I stepped into the quaint little cafe 2 days later, my heart raced with anticipation. I had arrived early, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness, my mind still foggy from sleepless nights that seemed to stretch endlessly. On a night filled with the echoes of the same dream, Eva entered the room, her expression revealing a weariness that mirrored my own. "You look like you haven't slept," I remarked softly, she murmured as she gracefully settled into the chair opposite me. "I haven't, not really." She cradled her mug in her hands, a soft smile playing on her lips. "This might sound a bit wild, but I've been having these dreams. My coffee always seems to pause at just the right moment." To my lips about Paris in the 1920s, she breathed, her eyes widening with surprise. "How did you know?" "Because I've been having the same dream." I leaned closer, my heart racing. "You're a dancer, and I'm a painter with a studio nearby." "Mom," she whispered, "and there's always music playing from a gramophone in the Lavon Rose, a name that dances on the lips like a whispered secret, evokes a world where passion and longing intertwine. Each syllable carries the weight of unspoken desires, hinting at stories of love that bloom in the most unexpected places. The air is thick with anticipation, as hearts beat in sync with the rhythm of fate, drawing souls together in a tapestry of emotion and connection. Corner, a shiver coursed through me. The song is Lavon Rose, But that melody, it wasn't written until the 1940s, she said, a look of bewilderment crossing her face. As I pondered the thought, it seemed our dreams were intertwining across different eras, a notion that danced on the edge of possibility. Explanation felt fragile, or perhaps her voice faded as she extended her hand across the table, capturing mine. The moment our skin brushed against another, and a spark ignited within me, the memory of the Parisian studio flooding my thoughts. More vibrant than any fantasy, the scent of oil lingered in the air, wrapping around us like a tender embrace. Paints here the distant street vendors whispering. "Did you feel that too?" she said. "Not a question," I nodded, unable to pull my hand away. "What is happening to us?" "I don't." Her thumb danced in gentle circles on my palm, and I felt no fear in its touch. "Are you the—" A question lingered in the air between us. Was I afraid? Yes, but not of Eva. I was afraid of how this sensation enveloped us with a fervor that transcended the usual steps of discovering one another. I believe we are meant to explore this connection further. With a deep breath, I finally spoke the words that had been lingering in my heart. The following day, I feigned illness to escape my commitments and made my way to the Oakland Historical Society, where secrets of the past awaited me. The building held a serene stillness, with only a handful of retirees meandering through the exhibits, their eyes glimmering with nostalgia. At the information desk, a lone attendant wore an expression of indifference, as if waiting for something or someone to ignite a spark in the tranquil atmosphere. As I delved into the enchanting world of Paris in the 1920s, I shared with her my fascination, particularly with the vibrant art scene that danced through the streets. She guided me to their digital archives, where a treasure trove of books awaited. For hours, I lost myself in the enchanting world of photographs and articles, discovering nothing that ignited a sense of familiarity until the final moments before the shop's doors closed. Within the pages of a tale centered on American wanderers in the enchanting streets of Paris, a small black and white photograph captured my attention. It depicted the enchanting opening night of a gallery, dated September 1923. In the midst of a bustling crowd, two women stood apart, one adorned in a painter's smock, the other elegantly draped in an evening dress, their contrasting styles hinting at untold stories and the promise of connection. Though their faces were small in the image, my heart recognized them immediately. With trembling hands, I captured a moment with my phone. The caption whispered of the gallery's grand unveiling, showcasing the artistry of many promising female artists of the avant-garde movement. I texted Eva, "I've discovered something intriguing. Can you meet tonight?" The response arrived in a heartbeat. "Yes, my place at 8. Eva's heart fluttered at the sight of the photograph, reflected my own astonishment, quickly followed by an unexpected feeling of affirmation. "That's us." She leaned closer to her phone, her voice barely above a whisper. "But how is this possible?" She sat on her couch, shoulders brushing together, gazing at the image as if it held the secrets of the universe, hoping it might suddenly reveal everything about the past. She spoke of lives past, of the possibility of rebirth. I confessed, with a hint of skepticism, that I had never truly embraced such notions. "Neither have I." She gazed up at me, her eyes sparkling with unspoken emotions. "But I've also never felt this way before." As if our souls had intertwined across time, the dreams lingered between us, whispering secrets of a connection deeper than words. It all began the moment our paths crossed. I suggested, "Perhaps our imaginations are weaving this intricate dream." She simply shook her head. "Then how do we explain it?" "Dr. Winters, can you help me understand how we share these identical dreams? Or perhaps this photograph?" I find myself at a loss. Her fingers tangled in my hair, a gesture of frustration. Nothing about this situation felt right. "I know someone who might help," Ava said suddenly, her voice laced with hope. Dr. Winters, a captivating hypnotherapist, guided me through the depths of my performance anxiety. Her enchanting skills also led me to explore the mysteries of past life regression therapy. I felt a shiver of doubt as the idea of surrendering to the unknown washed over me. What could we possibly gain from this? Yet, there was a part of me that was intrigued by her enthusiasm. Her eyes sparkled with a daring invitation. "Are you afraid of what we might uncover?" But I couldn't resist, more terrified of letting this bond slip away as just a chance encounter when every fiber of my being. It was a moment charged with unspoken emotions. I found myself nodding in agreement, a thrill coursing through me. As I stepped away from Eva, the air felt electric with possibility. In that apartment, under the soft glow of the moonlight, the dreams enveloped us, whispering secrets of a past we yearned to uncover, drawing us closer to a truth long buried. or perhaps to something even more profound. Whatever lay ahead in Dr. Winter's office, I sensed we had stepped into a realm that rendered retreat impossible. Unlikely as it seemed, our current reality and a shadowy past were intertwining, leaving us ensnared at the crossroads. Dr. Amelia. Winter's office took me by surprise. I had envisioned crystal balls and tarot cards, yet it resembled a typical therapist's sanctuary. Serene blue walls, embraced by inviting furniture adorned with diplomas from esteemed universities. The woman, in her mid-50s, radiates elegance with her silver hair. Streaked hair and a practical bob radiated an air of competence, leaving behind any hint of mysticism. She spoke of the moments you both cherished, her voice soft and inviting after the introductions. I'll be honest, she continued, most past life regressions reveal metaphorical rather than literal truths. The heart whispers in symbols. I crossed my... So, do you believe we're fabricating this? I sense a deep bond between you two, crafting something profound. She adjusted her tone softly. Whether it pertains to genuine past lives or a significant psychological journey, the occurrence remains deeply meaningful to you both, as Ava gently clasped my... With a gentle nod, Dr. Winters acknowledged their desire for clarity. Then let's proceed, he said, inviting them into the unfolding narrative of their lives. As the moment unfolded, Eva stepped forward, her voice filled with the gentle determination. I observed the doctor, anticipation swirling in the air around us, led her into a tranquil embrace, her voice flowing like a gentle stream. Eva's breaths became deeper, her expression softening with each word. As you stroll down a lengthy passage of your recollections, the presence of Dr. Winters lingers, strong and defined. Each door you pass conceals a moment you've cherished. In a world where dreams intertwine with reality, she sought the portal that led to her heart's desire, a door that whispered of Parisian nights. With a gentle push, she opened it, eager to unveil the wonders that awaited her. Ava's gaze darted with anticipation, each flutter of her lashes revealing the depth of her longing. Beneath her closed lids, Elise, Duran, twirling gracefully at La Papillon Noir in the soft glow of the evening. Mart, it's 1922. Her voice had transformed delicately, her familiar rhythm supplanted by something more enchanting. What do you see? Elise, my dressing room is adorned with flowers from admirers surround me, yet my heart is captivated solely by the art. Her art. Whose art, if not hers? Elise Catherine Mercer American captures movement like no other. Someone else claims I'm her inspiration. A smile graced Eva's lips. We must tread lightly. In the hush of twilight, we met in secret, where love danced between the shadows. My heart raced at the thought of Catherine. The name echoed within me like a bell tolling. As Eva wove tales of her life, each word a step in a delicate dance, drawing me into the vibrant world of the hall where their stories intertwined. In the shadows of their secret connection, the cozy apartment became a sanctuary where they could momentarily shed their masks. She shared her thoughts, each detail spilling forth like whispered confessions. Streets I had yet to explore, a time I had never experienced. Yet, everything felt hauntingly familiar. The gallery opening, Eva whispered. In an instant, her expression shifted, shadows creeping into Catherine's momentous debut that I could only witness from afar. A fleeting glimpse of what could have been. Amidst the throng, they could never grasp the bond she shared with a dancer, her heart's true companion. Her voice trembled, for she was nothing short of extraordinary. So enchanting. She was a woman ahead of her time. But then what? Elise felt the weight of Dr. Winter's gaze, igniting a spark within her. Oh, the possibilities that lay before her. Oh, the flames. Eva's face twisted in anguish as her studio, filled with all her creations, succumbed to the blaze. I wasn't there. I was lost in my own world. As I stood there, the sound of her sobs reached my ears, and I could see the tears cascading down her cheeks. Catherine Mercer, a name that dances on the lips of those who dare to dream of love's embrace. With her eyelids gently closed, Dr. Winters led Eva back to a serene state, gradually easing her out of the depths of hypnosis. As she blinked, a dazed expression washed over her, revealing the lingering traces of the journey she had just experienced. Was it successful? Yes, I whispered, my heart racing from the revelation I had just encountered. Then it was my turn. Doubt lingered in my mind until Dr. Winter's voice faded. echoing down a distant corridor. In an instant, I found myself transported to another realm. My name is Catherine Mercer, I heard myself say, my voice barely above a whisper. I had come to Paris to paint in 1920, seeking solace and inspiration. Boston felt stifling, too many memories clinging to me like shadows. In this moment, I find myself unbound, surrounded by the delightful chaos of my studio. The air is filled with a rich aroma that dances around me, inviting inspiration and creativity to flourish. Turpentine and tobacco filled the air as the golden light danced through the tall windows. It was then that I recounted the moment our paths first crossed. The day I laid eyes on Elise, as the music swirled around us, time stood still. In that moment, I realized I had to immortalize her graceful movements on canvas. She transformed into my entire world. I spoke of my inspiration, my hidden treasure, my very existence. Then I began to recount the cherished moments we shared, capturing her essence as she lost herself in the glow of the lamplight, guiding her hands to blend colors, drifting into slumber entwined in the warmth of my small bed. The joy in these memories was palpable, so real I could taste it, until I reached the gallery opening. How empty it felt. Without Elise, you stood openly by my side. The celebration afterward in my studio with fellow artists, the laughter echoing, the knocked-over lamp illuminating our joy. Flames danced wildly, consuming the paint-soaked rags and canvases in a fervent embrace. I managed to escape, yet I found myself whispering. But my work, everything we created together was ablaze. I returned for just one piece, the portrait of Elise, that revealed the essence of our connection. My voice trembled as I recounted the shattering of the ceiling, the agonizing ache, the enveloping shadows. When after Winters brought me back, I found Eva weeping softly. And in that moment, I understood the depth of her sorrow. Tears streamed down my face as Eva whispered, "You died. Catherine was gone." In an effort to preserve our image, Dr. Winters observed us intently. The experience was strikingly harmonious. The details and timelines flowed together in a way that felt almost serendipitous. Outside, in the cool evening air, we stood together, enveloped in a silence that felt heavy with unspoken words. My mind raced, struggling to grasp the reality of what had unfolded in that office and the profound implications it held for us. For us now, what do we do with this? I finally asked. Eva stepped closer. Her tear-stained face hovered just inches from mine. We completed what they could never achieve. Her lips found mine, carrying with them a century of unfulfilled desire. The kiss was a beautiful blend of nostalgia and novelty, a moment where the past intertwined with the present. My hands gently rested on her waist, drawing us closer in that enchanting embrace, drawing her nearer as the rest of existence faded into oblivion. When we at last separated, gasping for air, the universe felt transformed. James Turner, a name that echoes with the promise of passion and intrigue, stirs the heart and ignites the imagination. "Come home with me," she whispered against my lips. "Yes," I breathed, surrendering to the warmth of her invitation. The days following our hypnotherapy session unfolded in a whirlwind of passion, where Eva and I found ourselves entwined in a captivating dance of emotions in our own little universe, exchanging tales of our present while unraveling the mysteries of our past. We cherished the nights spent in a dance between my apartment and hers, as if we were reclaiming moments lost to the sands of time. Then came in the soft light of morning, Eva's world shifted with a single phone call. "That was James," she murmured, her expression a tapestry of conflicting feelings. As she ended the call, a sparkle of excitement danced in her eyes. "Lumiere Cosmetics wants me as the face of their global campaign." "Eva, that's incredible." I settled into my seat, feeling the thrill of her news. Up in bed, a flutter of excitement coursed through him. For her, she smiled softly, yet the light in her eyes remained absent. Would signify a journey to Paris for at least a year. Paris, the very name lingered in the air between us, weighted with a bittersweet sense of irony. The city that had once woven our past selves into a beautiful tapestry would now unravel the threads of our present selves. "When would you leave?" My voice sounded hollow, even to me. 3 weeks. If I accept, she took my hand. "I don't have to leave." "Of course you do," I whispered, squeezing her fingers, urging her to understand. With hearts racing and a spark igniting, this moment feels like destiny. Yet, just as we've discovered one another, her gaze captivates me. "I searched for you." My heart aching at the thought of losing you once more, I pressed a gentle kiss to her forehead, reminding us both that this is not a time for longing glances and whispered promises of the past. We have our phones, video calls, and planes, We'll find a way to make it work, even in the face of my own doubts. Something shifted between us, a delicate tension weaving through the air. A hesitancy crept in where once there had been unwavering certainty. Time transformed into a precious commodity, each moment heavy with unspoken words. Pressing down on James, he reached out repeatedly, sharing the intricate details of contracts, flight arrangements, and apartment options. His excitement was palpable as Eva explained everything after their first conversation. In a moment that felt charged with possibility, he spoke of a particularly long call that would elevate me to the international stage. His confidence was infectious, and I found myself agreeing wholeheartedly, feeling the thrill of what lay ahead. As I attempted to push aside the fluttering anxiety within me, a week later found me at the takeout counter, when suddenly my phone chimed with a message from Sophia. You simply must take a look at this. Attached is a screenshot from James Turner's Instagram story, featuring him and Eva at a delightful gathering. In an elegant restaurant, the clinking of champagne glasses filled the air as he raised his glass, his words echoing with warmth, celebrating new beginnings with my favorite muse. My stomach dropped. The photo wasn't exactly enchanting, but the closeness it captured was undeniable, unmistakable. Eva had kept her dinner plans with James a secret. In fact, she had claimed to be occupied with a final fitting for a local designer. I gazed at the image, lost in its allure, until the server called my order twice. Eva's smile radiated warmth, while James's hand rested possessively, a silent promise of his intentions. Near hers on the table, I recalled the way he had gazed at me during the photo shoot, as if I were merely a bothersome presence to endure. That night, Eva left my calls unanswered, and my texts glowed red, yet remained silent. Until nearly midnight, I found myself lost in thought. Apologies for the delay. It was a long day filled with contracts and lawyers. Let's talk tomorrow. As I lay awake, my mind wandered, lost in thoughts of whether the past would come back to haunt us, if outside influences would tear us apart once more. The following day, I immersed in my tasks. I took on every opportunity that presented itself. If Eva was departing, I had to be prepared. Distraction. 3 days later, I resolved to delight Eva with a surprise lunch. I found myself in the bustling heart of downtown, attending meetings about sublet letters for her apartment. What took me by surprise was the sight of her and James appearing together, their presence igniting a spark of unexpected emotions. In a dimly lit, exclusive restaurant, he wrapped his arm around her shoulders, her laughter ringing out like music at something he'd said. They were lost in their own world. Oblivious to my presence, she ducked into a doorway, her heart racing as she watched him walk to his car. Just colleagues, she reminded herself, but the flutter in her chest told a different story. It was all about the business for me, yet my trust began to crumble. Then, at last, Eva reached out. As the evening unfolded, her voice sparkled with excitement. The contract is signed. They're flying me first class. Wonderful. The vision of her and James lingers vividly in my thoughts. Caroline, you seem different. Perhaps it's just that I'm weary from pondering the reasons behind your presence with someone else. James, today when you mentioned those subletter interviews, I felt a flutter in my chest. Was there a moment of hesitation? It seemed as if you were watching me, your gaze lingering just a bit too long. Eva, I was bringing you lunch. Surprise. Her sigh crackled through the phone. In a twist of fate, the Lumiere executives sought an urgent meeting before sealing the deal. Just the other night, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. With a toast of champagne, the moment lingered, stretching into a sweet silence. How did you capture this on Instagram? There exists Eva, and so does Sophia. James posted that. Damn it! It wasn't what it seemed. It seemed as though he yearned to delve into plans for Paris, a scheme that called for both champagne and whispers of secrecy. I, however, was not inclined to engage. I wanted to share my thoughts with you, fully aware of how you'd respond. We had never experienced such a clash before. The stillness that followed her passionate words hung heavily in the air. It felt like the world was crumbling around me. I think we need some distance. I finally confessed, my heart heavy. You're leaving regardless, aren't you? Perhaps we should begin that journey now, Caroline. No, her voice trembled. Please, we are destined to be united. And deep down, you understand that more than anyone else. But do I truly believe it? Because at this moment, all I can think about is you embarking on a journey to Paris with a man who undeniably desires to be more than just your agent. And you're deceiving me. And that's simply not right. Perhaps it's true, but history itself isn't fair either. As the echoes of the conversation faded, I hung up and switched off my phone. That night, my dreams were devoid of. In the enchanting streets of 1920s Paris, a blaze engulfed all that I cherished, leaving me powerless as I beheld the flames devour my world. 3 days of silence lingered, heavy and profound, as if time itself had come to a standstill. In a bid to escape the stillness, I immersed myself in my work, seizing an opportunity to create a music video that called for me to transform a youthful spirit into someone seasoned by experience. As the singer embraced her transformation into her elder self, it felt like the perfect evolution. 2. Was on a journey of becoming, shedding layers to reveal a more resilient version of myself, feeling more withdrawn. I powered my phone back on, yet Ava's messages lingered, untouched and unread. Her voicemails lay untouched, a haunting reminder of what once was. Moving on felt like the only sensible path. For what did we truly share? Just a fleeting few weeks of passion and promise, the fervor ignited by dreams, the allure of hypnotic fantasies, beckoning me night after night. Catherine's memories lingered like a bittersweet melody. Her fervent devotion to art, her heart-wrenching love for Elise, and her ultimate, desperate gesture to protect what she cherished most consumed my thoughts. Their portrait, these were no longer mere dreams. They had become something more, too consistent, too vivid. On the fourth morning, a stirring within me compelled me to seek deeper truths. I realized I craved more answers, not fewer, if I was to embark on this journey, with or without Eva. I had to take the next step. To fully grasp the events that had unfolded between us, I found myself back at Dr. Winters' office, uninvited and yearning for answers. Caroline. She looked at me with genuine surprise as I entered her waiting room. I don't have any openings today, but I just need to know if what happened was real, I blurted out, my heart racing. Could Eva and I have shared some kind of collective delusion? Dr. Winters studied me for a moment, then gestured for her next client to wait. Come in for 5 minutes. Inside her office, she didn't invite me to sit. In 3 decades of practice, I've guided countless souls through regression sessions. What transpired between you and Eva was truly remarkable. The intertwining details and the heartfelt connection. It's not something that can be feigned or, by a twist of fate, it seems you think we embody the essence of Catherine and Elise. She felt a deep, unbreakable bond that transcended the ages. With a moment's hesitation, she whispered, "Where is Eva now?" I averted my gaze. We needed some distance. Her tone revealed that she understood far more than I had anticipated. I suggested to Caroline that whatever she decides about her relationship, she might want to consider one more session. In solitude, there lies a deeper understanding waiting to be uncovered about Catherine's tale. That afternoon, I found myself stretched out on Dr. Winters' couch, lost in thought. As I surrendered to the gentle pull of the trance, I found myself diving deeper into the cherished memories of Catherine. It was not merely her. The connection with Elise blossomed, intertwined with her passion for art, her battles in a world often ruled by men, and her unwavering vision. Then, a moment of clarity arrived that changed everything. Shattered, I found myself echoing Catherine's voice. I didn't die immediately. 3 days in the hospital, but Elise never arrived. What could have happened? Dr. Winters inquired softly. She was unaware. In the quiet corners of her heart, Catherine felt the stirrings of something profound, a whisper of destiny that beckoned her towards a love yet to be discovered. My friends believed she was merely my muse. No one revealed to her that she would be taking the stage that evening. I learned of the blaze afterward. Then I was already gone. The tragedy of it consumed me, Catherine. In her final moments, believing that Elise had forsaken her. Elise, never having the chance to bid farewell, a miscommunication that lingered between two hearts for 100 years as I stepped into. As the tears flowed down my cheeks, I felt the weight of unspoken farewells. I whispered softly, reminiscent of the bond Eva and I shared, a connection that lingered in the air like a haunting melody. Dr. Winters stood by, a silent witness to my heartache. She offered me a tissue, her eyes reflecting a depth of understanding. History doesn't have to repeat itself. Caroline, not if you. As I stepped out of her office, a newfound clarity washed over me, a sensation I hadn't experienced in days. The memories of Ava and Paris lingered in my mind, intertwining with the promise of what could be. James, we were meant for a conclusion that felt right. The echoes of our past lingered, intertwining with the present, leaving us with unresolved feelings. For a lifetime, I refused to allow it to shadow us into another moment. On a whim, I made my way to the Oakland Museum of Art. I felt an undeniable need to be there, enveloped by the artistry that transcends time. As I wandered through the galleries, I felt an irresistible pull towards a small exhibit of early 20th century works, and there it was, a sensation that stirred the heart and ignited a spark of longing. There was a spark of excitement when I stumbled upon the small card, a treasure from the Parisian avant-garde, capturing the essence of creativity from 1920 to 1925. The collection embarked on a journey from France, unveiling paintings that had been lovingly preserved in a sealed storage room at the MMA. Years after being saved from the clutches of various studios, just before the grand renovations began, many artists remained shrouded in mystery, their identities lost to time, signatures faded by the passage of time or the touch of water. Yet, one canvas made my heart race. A dancer in mid-turn, her face and profile captivatingly familiar, unmistakably belonging to Eva, or perhaps, more accurately, to Elise. The brushwork was bold, the emotion palpable, no signature remained, yet I felt an undeniable connection to Catherine's artistry. Somehow, it was unmistakably hers. It had endured. I remained motionless before the canvas, oblivious to the tears streaming down my cheeks until a museum guard extended a tissue towards me. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "It just brings back memories of someone. Art is meant to stir your soul," he said gently. "That's how you recognize its true quality." I texted Eva right away, feeling a rush of excitement. "I need to catch a glimpse of you. Something truly remarkable awaits at the Oakland Museum." Her reply arrived in mere seconds. "I'm still here, in town, tomorrow at noon." A single word escaped my lips. Yes, I found my way to the museum. 30 minutes ticked by, my stomach a whirlwind of emotions. Eva was set to depart for Paris in less than 2 weeks. This could be our final opportunity to, in the soft glow of the evening, I sat on a bench by the entrance, my heart racing as I rehearsed the words that had been swirling in my mind. And then, like a dream materializing, she appeared before me. She appeared both familiar and transformed, her hair styled in a shorter, more sophisticated cut, perfectly suited for the streets of Paris. "Hi," she said, pausing a few feet away, her eyes sparkling with surprise. "You cut your hair." Her fingers brushed against the soft strands, a gentle touch that lingered in the air, with a hint of shyness. I asked, "Do you like it? It really suits you." I stood there, feeling a bit out of place. "Thanks," I replied softly, "for coming." We stepped inside, the air thick with unspoken words and electric anticipation. I guided. As we wandered through the galleries, the air thick with excitement, I could sense Catherine's anticipation intertwining with my own. "Caroline, before we uncover what you've discovered, I must share my thoughts about James." She halted her steps, attention hanging in the air. "You don't owe me any explanations," she said softly. "Yes, I do," I replied, our gazes locking in a moment that felt electric. It was clear that James had been weaving a web of manipulation around both of us. Just yesterday, Sophia came to visit me, her eyes filled with concern as she revealed the texts he had sent her. "Oh, Sophia, why would he seek to uncover details about you? About us? He has been making an effort to do so. From the very start, fate seemed determined to keep us apart. Those encounters I experienced were no accident. He arranged them deliberately, knowing full well the moments we were meant to share, encountering the restaurant photos he shared. He longed for your gaze to fall upon them. My thoughts spiraled. Yet, why? Because he seeks to dominate my career. He believes that love can be a hindrance. Especially," she paused, contemplating the weight of his words. In a world where emotions intertwine, the message was unmistakable. James was not merely possessive. He held on to his biases. "Why didn't you share this with me? I only found out yesterday when Sophia revealed it." Every detail, even the messages where he boasted about driving a wedge between us, weighed heavily on her heart. She cast her gaze downward, feeling the weight of the moment. "This morning, I made the decision to let him go." "What? But Paris? The agreement is with Lumiere, not James." She reached out to their executive team directly. Stepping closer, she said, "I'm still going to Paris, Caroline. But I want us to find a way to make this work." As we navigated this moment together, a wave of relief washed over me, swiftly followed by a pang of guilt for my earlier doubts. I found myself whispering, "I'm sorry I didn't trust you. Forgive me for not being entirely truthful." She gently placed her hand on my arm, urging me to reveal what had been hidden. It was a moment so crucial that it demanded our presence together. As we arrived at the exhibition, I led her to the captivating dancer painting, without hesitation. Her reaction was everything I had dreamed of: immediate recognition, followed by a gaze filled with wide-eyed wonder. That was the moment I had longed for. "That's Elise," she whispered. "That's me," I said softly. As Catherine's work endured, not everything was lost in the fire. Eva stared at the painting, transfixed. It's extraordinary. You captured her essence completely. Catherine. Did I? With a soft correction, Eva turned to me, her eyes shimmering. You are Catherine in all the moments that lingered. We lost ourselves in the museum, captivated by each painting that whispered stories of love and longing. In this collection, 3 pieces stood out as undeniably hers, each stroke of the brush revealing her unique perspective. They were a fragment of her essence, a reflection of our shared moments. We emerged unscathed, our hearts still racing. After the museum's doors closed behind us, we strolled hand in hand to a nearby park, the evening air thick with possibility. Sitting side by side on a bench as the afternoon light softened, I turned to her and said, I had another session with Dr. Winters. As I recounted the poignant details of Catherine's final days, I noticed the glimmer of tears in Eva's eyes. In her last moments, she held on to thoughts of Elise, a bittersweet reminder of love that lingered until the very end, left her behind, a miscommunication that separated them in their last fleeting moments. As she took my hand, a spark ignited between us. I don't want that for us, I confessed, my heart racing. Neither do I, she replied softly, intertwining our fingers, sealing our unspoken promise. What if you joined me in Paris? The question took me by surprise. Eva, as I thought about my work, here I am, surrounded by my clients, who are talented makeup artists in the enchanting city of Paris. Caroline is likely among them. Among the finest in the world, the opportunity to learn and hone our skills beckons. The thought of embarking on this journey together sends a thrill through my heart, both exhilarating and daunting. Exhilarating. I can't simply abandon everything. Not right away. No, but eventually, her gaze locked onto mine. Consider this. Catherine never had the chance to explore Paris with Elise. Perhaps that is the essence of this moment. In the quiet stillness of the night, inspiration enveloped me like a warm embrace at 2:00 a.m. I found myself sitting upright, heart racing with the promise of something beautiful. In the soft glow of dawn, I found myself in bed, my fingers eagerly searching for my sketchbook. By the time the sun rose, it was filled with pages of intricate designs, each one a whisper of inspiration born from the night. Innovative beauty ideas that transcend my previous work, where artistry and cosmetics intertwine. With a heart full of anticipation, I invited Eva to my apartment 2 days later, eager to unveil the bold avant-garde patterns that adorned my space. These are absolutely breathtaking, she exclaimed, her fingers delicately tracing the lines of the sketches. This is, beloved Caroline. I find myself lost in the tender echoes of our past, a tapestry woven with the cherished memories of Mom. What if we dared to dream, to explore the possibilities that lie before us? What if we embraced the magic of what could be? Join forces, crafting a vision that transcends mere beauty, weaving a narrative that speaks of us. Her face lit up at the thought of the exhibition, a dazzling showcase of makeup artistry. Just before she was set to depart, for Paris, you as the enchanting muse, others adorned in creations inspired by in the enchanting 1920s. As Catherine's vibrant paintings adorned the walls, our tale unfolded. Eva, with a spark in her eyes, threw her arms around me, whispering a heartfelt yes, a moment suspended in time, 1,000 times. Yes, the next 3 weeks unfolded like a passionate whirlwind as I summoned every favor I could muster. The showcase, every photographer, designer, and gallery contact I knew. Eva reached out to her model friends who were eager to participate, including Sophia, managed to generate excitement surrounding the innovative idea. On the eve of the exhibition's grand unveiling, Eva and I stood in the quiet gallery, enveloped by the striking images of my artistry, each photograph capturing the beauty of various models, yet one stood out above the rest. In every image, Eva captured the myriad facets of Elise, the enchanting character at the heart of our tale. In that moment, as Eva whispered and squeezed my hand, I could feel the warmth of pride enveloping us both, a silent promise of love and connection that transcended words. Elise, I turned to face her, and when this is all said and done, I will be on my way to Paris. Not in an instant, her smile illuminated the gallery, brighter than any light surrounding it. A promise lingered in the air. Every tale yearns for a more enchanting conclusion. I declared, sealing my vow with a tender kiss. The atmosphere in the gallery thrummed with anticipation. A vibrant tapestry of style and allure. In a vibrant gathering, local creators and beauty connoisseurs filled the room, cocktails in hand. as they mingled and moved gracefully from one enchanting conversation to another, from one image to another. My craft breathes new life into Catherine's vision, showcased in a grand display that captivates the heart. Every wall seemed to whisper secrets of passion. "This is revolutionary," a beauty editor from Vogue exclaimed, her grip tightening on my arm. The storytelling unfolded like a delicate dance, weaving emotions into every word. Through the art of makeup, the echoes of history come alive in a way I've never experienced before. Smiled and thanked her, but my gaze wandered, endlessly seeking Eva. She had been the center of attention since the moment she stepped in, her presence captivating all around her. An elevated status as Lumiere's global face, capturing attention even before my artwork on her skin unveiled another layer of, with an enchanting allure, Sophia materialized beside me, two delicate champagne flutes gracing her hands. "Drink this," she urged, her voice a melodic invitation. "It feels as if the world is spinning, and I can hardly breathe," I confessed, taking the glass with trembling hands. So many souls gathered. "All for you." She clinked her glass against mine. "You did it, Caroline. You found a way to honor the past while crafting an entirely fresh vision." The highlight of the exhibition was a captivating triptych of Eva, featuring 3 grand photographs that revealed her metamorphosis from a contemporary muse to a spirited flapper of the 1920s, and finally into a celestial being that defies the constraints of time. The artistry behind each look, the creation had consumed hours, intertwining technical mastery with deeply stirring emotions. The artist herself was at sea. A photographer approached, camera poised, and asked with a charming smile, "Mind if I capture a few shots of you beside your masterpiece?" He carefully positioned me before the artwork, creating a moment that felt both intimate and electric. I finally caught sight of Eva gliding toward us, radiant in a vintage-inspired gown that whispered of Elisa's enchanting era. "Wait," I said to the photographer, my heart racing. "Can you include her? She's as much a part of this moment. This is who I am." Eva nestled beside me, her arms wrapping around my waist. "I apologize for taking so long, yearning to be near you. The world buzzes with whispers of Paris. So, when do you embark on your journey?" The photographer inquired, capturing the moment with each click of the shutter. "Next week," she said, her grip on me tightening slightly. "And will your makeup artist be joining the Lumiere? Is the team there?" Before Eva could respond, I interjected, "Eventually, we have some logistics to sort out. Let's focus on the task at hand first." The photographer lowered his camera, sensing an unfolding narrative. "So, you two are..." Eva turned to me, a question sparkling in her eyes. We hadn't yet broached the subject. In that fleeting moment, my thoughts were consumed by Catherine and Elise, two souls entwined in a dance of secrecy, forever cautious, forever hidden. This time, I drew Eva nearer, our lips meeting amidst the bright flashes and surprised gasps. It was a moment unplanned, uncalculated, yet utterly perfect. It was the most sincere reply I could muster. When we separated, Eva's eyes sparkled with an undeniable light. The photographer beamed, his camera clicking away to seize the moment. "Does that answer your question?" Eva inquired, her tone playful yet teasing. As our lips met, the world around us faded, and in that moment, it became the spark that ignited everything between us. Amidst the vibrant hues of my creation, Eva's delicate hand cradled my cheek, while my fingers wove through her silken hair. By dawn, the essence of our connection lingered in every corner. Lumiere's enchanting visage captures the heart of a brilliant makeup artist. We had just returned to my apartment that night when Eva's phone buzzed incessantly with notifications. "James," she murmured, her expression darkening as she scrolled through the messages. Through messages, I caught a glimpse of her screen. "He's livid." I leaned in closer, my heart racing as I read over her shoulder. "What the hell were you thinking? This stunt could cost you everything." Everything felt charged in the air. "Call me immediately," I urged, my heart racing. "What are you going to do?" I asked, a sudden wave of worry washing over me as I realized how reckless we had been. Eva turned off her, "My phone is silent, a void of communication. He's no longer my agent." A chapter closed, and Lumiere was aware of our connection when they brought me on board. I made sure they knew. In the midst of final negotiations, they were unexpectedly encouraging. They remarked that my genuine life story brought a captivating depth to the conversation. She rolled her eyes, a playful spark igniting in her gaze. "Corporate speak for your love life makes good PR," she quipped, and I couldn't help but laugh. a wave of relief washing over me. So, in a moment that felt electric, she pulled me closer, her arms encircling me as we shared a kiss in the open air, defying the world around us. The consequences. Though I believe we should indulge in more practice to refine our technique for the enchanting moments that await us in future photo opportunities, the exhibition's triumph surpassed every hope and dream. Art blogs sang its praises, while beauty magazines eagerly sought interviews, captivated by its allure. A prominent gallery owner reached out to me just 2 days later, eager to discuss a more extensive show. Yet, in that fleeting moment, James made his final, desperate plea. A gossip site unveiled an exclusive insider story about Eva and me, revealing intimate details of our hypnotherapy sessions, the whispers of our shared history, the tender moments we cherished together. The origin remained a mystery. Yet, we were acutely aware of the impending chaos, my heart racing with the fear that this would turn us into the subject of ridicule. Everyone would be watching. "Do you think we're crazy?" Eva asked, her voice steady as she scanned the article on her laptop. "Actually, this might be the best thing James could have done for us, how he's portraying us as lost in our fantasies. Read the..." As I perused the comments beneath the article, I found that instead of mockery, a sense of fascination enveloped the readers. Many took the opportunity to share their own stories, weaving a tapestry of connection and intrigue. Moments of serendipity, whispers of past lives, an undeniable spark with unfamiliar faces. "They trust in our bond," I whispered, astonished. "They believe in the possibility," Eva corrected, "which is all." In the early hours, we found solace in one another. The following morning, Lumiere's marketing team reached out to Eva. Bridging the gap that once seemed insurmountable, they sought to weave the essence of the tale into her campaign, where eternal allure would now take center stage. The tagline with delicate allusions to the enchanting streets of Paris in the 1920s. That night, as Eva packed her apartment for the move, she paused, her fingers gently tracing the edges of a photograph from the Oakland Historical Society, capturing a moment shared with Catherine. "Elise is coming full circle with us, isn't she?" I nodded, wrapping my arms around her from behind. "They're getting closer." After 6 long months since Eva walked away, I can't help but wonder if they would be proud of us. I believe they'd say it's about damn time we found our way back to each other. For Paris, I finally boarded a plane to join her. Our connection had endured across oceans and time zones. A promise whispered in the evening air. Whispers of connection through video calls, sweet morning texts, and cherished weekend visits whenever our busy lives permitted. My exhibition had journeyed to 3 more cities, weaving our stories together. Opportunities I had never dreamed could come my way. Now, with a commission from a French cosmetics brand, and 3, amidst the enchanting allure of Paris, my heart was torn between the professional commitments that beckoned me and the personal desires that whispered sweetly in my ear. The city, with its timeless charm, held secrets that called to both my ambition and my longing. They embraced me with the warmth of spring. The trees blossoming along the boulevards felt both enchanting and oddly known, as if they held secrets waiting to be discovered. The taxi meandered through streets Catherine had once strolled, a wave of familiarity enveloping me, not quite memories, but an unmistakable feeling of returning rather than arriving. Eva waited at our apartment, champagne in hand and tears glistening in her eyes. "Welcome home," she murmured softly against my lips. That first week, we were utterly inseparable, meandering through the city as if we were fresh-faced explorers. Even though Eva had called this place home for months, we found ourselves at Montmartre, lingering on street corners where Catherine's studio seemed to gaze into dance halls that might have been Le Peignoir reborn. It's strange," Eva said as we sat at a cafe near Sacror. "I know I've been here before, yet everything feels new with you." Beside me, on our 3rd day, we wandered to the charming little palace where Eva had recently captured moments in a photo shoot. As we strolled, as I wandered through the gallery, a small placard captured my gaze, whispering tales of rediscovered modernism and the lost works of the Mart Circle. "Eva," I gasped, drawing her closer to the exhibit. There, suspended in a realm of enchantment, hung a masterpiece that captured the essence of our shared dreams. Honor was a masterpiece I knew all too well. The dancer captured in a graceful spin, reminiscent of the one we had admired in Oakland, yet beside it hung another canvas I hadn't seen before. A tender portrait of 2 women, their faces turned toward each other, a beautiful expression of love, evident in every brushstroke. "It's them," Eva whispered. It's us. The painting. Catherine had met her fate in a valiant attempt to save the one who had revealed their true self, who, against all odds, had managed to endure. The curator observed this unfolding tale with a knowing gaze. Our hearts stirred, and we approached the exquisite piece, recently confirmed as the creation of Catherine Mercer, an American expatriate, discovered these treasures hidden within a sealed wall cavity during the renovations of an old building. How did they find themselves in this moment? I asked, my voice trembling with uncertainty. Whispers of intrigue surround the enchanting Elise Duran, a dancer whose fleeting ownership of the building adds an air of mystery to its storied past. In 1923, perhaps she concealed the paintings to safeguard them or to preserve Catherine's legacy. Ava's grip on my hand grew firmer. Elise had not forsaken Catherine. Instead, she had cherished her work, nurturing her memory in the most profound way she knew how. That evening, as we sat on our cozy balcony, the city lights twinkling like stars below us, Eva gently took my hand. I've been thinking about something, she said, her voice trembling with an unfamiliar nervousness. What's that? She vanished within, only to return. Within a delicate box lies the bittersweet tale of Catherine and Elise, two souls intertwined yet forever separated. They were never granted the chance to exchange vows of love, leaving their hearts yearning for the promises that would remain unspoken. Her heart raced as she lifted the lid of the box, unveiling a vintage ring adorned with a delicate sapphire. It was a treasure from the 1920s, a whisper of romance from a bygone era. As I revealed my discovery from the quaint antique shop, a wave of nostalgia washed over me, reminding me of the lives they once led. She inhaled deeply, her voice trembling with emotion. Caroline Roberts, will you marry me in this life and whatever comes next? I whispered, my tears blurring my vision. In every lifetime. 3 weeks later, we found ourselves back in Oakland, if only for a fleeting moment, to collect the remnants of my past. On a whim, we sought out Dr. Winters to share our delightful news. I'm not surprised, she said, a warm smile gracing her lips as she looked at us. Engagement. Some bonds are undeniably powerful, transcending the passage of time. Do you believe we will? Will we find each other again? Eva asked. In the next life. Dr. Winters considered this. Trust that kindred spirits, destined to unite, weave intricate designs through the ages. Like celestial imprints that resonate solely with one another, your souls recognized each other once, and they shall find their way back again. On that last evening in Oakland, we strolled hand in hand, the sun dipping low, painting the sky with hues of gold and crimson, the bay where our current journey had begun, the city lights shimmering on the water, stars twinkling overhead. Have you ever pondered whether we are truly those destined souls? I inquired of Catherine and Elise, or if we're just felt an inexplicable bond with them. Eva pondered this as she gazed at the waves. Perhaps the boundaries that separate the past from the present, the intertwining of their souls with ours, are more delicate and intertwined than we realize. Maybe we are not as disconnected as we believe. We are weaving their tale anew, filling in the gaps they left behind. And what, I wondered, is the narrative that belongs to us? As I wrapped my arm around her waist, she looked into my eyes and whispered, our story is just beginning, before pressing her lips to mine beneath the expansive California sky. But unlike theirs, ours won't be interrupted. We have time now, all the time we need. As we boarded the plane back to in the enchanting city of Paris, the following day revealed to me that we had returned to where it all began, with Catherine and Elise at the heart of it all. In the enchanting embrace of Oakland, our paths intertwined once more, leading us to the promise of a future in the romantic streets of Paris. This is not a conclusion, but rather a beautiful beginning. Not merely fleeting moments, but an enduring journey that transcends cities, time, and even lifetimes. Some loves are undeniably too deep and timeless. They resonate within a singular soul, journeying through the ages, always returning to where they truly belong, regardless of the obstacles that stand between them.